The Nordic Derby is officially on. In one corner, SAS, the tri-national powerhouse representing the heart of Scandinavia. In the other, Finnair, the Helsinki-based carrier known for their minimalist style and efficient hub. Welcome back to the Flyman Yann Aviation World Cup. We're in the trenches of round one, where 16 airlines began their journey, but today, one Nordic giant is getting grounded. To secure a spot in the quarterfinals, our contenders must fight for the most wins across 5 categories. Will Scandinavian tradition hold the line, or will Finnish precision take the lead? It's SAS versus Finnair. The bracket is set, the flights are booked, let's see who survives the battle for the North.
Good morning from a very cold, and it's just started snowing, Reykjavik. Today is the Battle of the Nordics with SAS Scandinavian versus Finnair. Now, I'm starting today with some good news and some bad news. The bad news is my SAS flight got cancelled yesterday, but the good news is I managed to rebook on the last seat on the next flight out of here today. It's to a different destination, but whatever, I had to make it work. And it also means I get to wake up at 6 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. So that's nice. Now, I need to go take a ridiculously overpriced bus to the airport, but that's Iceland for you. Let's go. I'm just outside Keflavik airport, but I need to get inside, it's so cold. Today will be my first time ever flying with SAS Scandinavian, and it's an unusual airline in the sense that it's the flag carrier for 3 separate countries. That's Denmark, Sweden and Norway. The only other airline I can think of that used to be like this was Gulf Air, when it was the flag carrier for Bahrain, Oman, Qatar and Abu Dhabi. But now obviously we have Oman Air, Qatar Airways and Etihad, so Gulf Air is only for Bahrain. Let me know in the comments if there's any other airline that's a flag carrier for multiple airlines. I can't think of any. For now, let's go check in.
After a very short queue for check-in, it was straight through security to the boarding gates.
Alright, I'm checked in, made it through security, and I've got my 2 boarding passes. I was originally meant to fly from Reykjavik straight to Oslo today, but that flight got cancelled yesterday. So I was on the phone yesterday rushing to try and get the last seat on the 10:30 a.m. flight to Copenhagen instead, which I managed to secure after a bit of craziness, the phone getting cut off, but I got it. And then I've got a quick connection from Copenhagen onwards to Oslo, so all is good. But what is not good is there is no lounge here. Can you believe it? There is a business class lounge if you're flying with Icelandair, but no contract lounge, nothing for Priority Pass, Dragon Pass. So you know what that means. That's an X on the scoreboard for the Champion Side Quest, and it means I'm stuck here in the main terminal. Terrible, right? So I'm going to look through this little window, see what planes are going past, wait for the SAS plane to come in, and in the meantime, let me tell you a bit more about the history of SAS.
Founded in 1946 as a unique partnership between Denmark, Norway and Sweden, SAS is the flag carrier of Scandinavia and is celebrating 80 years of operations in 2026. Operating from its 3 primary hubs in Copenhagen, Stockholm and Oslo, it connects the Nordics to over 130 global destinations. The current fleet is made up of Airbus A350s and A330s for long haul, while the high-efficiency A320neo family handles their extensive European and transatlantic narrow-body networks. Regional traffic is handled by a diverse mix of E195s, CRJ900s and ATR 72s. As of 2026, SAS was officially ranked the world's most punctual airline, and in a major shift in 2024, it left Star Alliance to become a key player in SkyTeam.
Alright, I think I see the plane coming in. Let's get on board.
Here's the 2-year-old A320neo will be flying over to Copenhagen today.
Can someone explain this to me? I've seen this at so many different airports in continents around the world where they have these seatings with built-in USB charging, and they just don't plug them in, so you can see the cables under the seats just not going anywhere. It's not just here, I've seen it in so many different places. I just don't understand why buy these seats if you're not going to plug them in. There's not even power outlets nearby on the floor. Is there a reason? just got settled into my seat. I'm in 12F today, a bit closer to the front. Because I had a last minute change of flights, this exit row seat was the only one available, so I'll go sit behind to show you the regular legroom. But for now, let's have a look around. And I'm gonna enjoy this extra legroom with all the stress I had to deal with yesterday with this cancelled flight.
First, let's talk seat design. It's a slimline seat, barely any padding present, and I think the antimacassar with big SAS letters is giving low-cost airline vibes. There's no headrest, the regular legroom seats have 29 inches of seat pitch, which actually felt pretty good despite being on the lower end, and the recline didn't go that far back. There's really not much more to say about the seat, so after the de-icing process was finished, we made our way to the runway and into the skies. The trolley started making its way down the aisle 35 minutes after takeoff. I saw in the menu they're serving a smash burger, so I had to go ahead and order that. And even better, they had it heated and delivered to my table in under 5 minutes.
Okay, I've just finished up the meal service, and I've got to say my expectations were really high for this burger. When I saw it on the menu, straight away I knew that's what I wanted to get, and I was thinking of I think it's Delta that offered the Shake Shack burger, and maybe that was a mistake and I set my hopes too high. But when the burger came, I took a bite. The bread was completely stale. The meat was like really chewy. It kind of reminded me, you know, in school sometimes you got a burger on a Friday as a treat, but it just was still terrible. It tasted like that kind of meat. So a bit disappointed in that. I was hoping for a bit more, but anyway, what can you do? Otherwise, I had the crisps and the Coke Zero as usual. All good, but yeah, bit let down with the burger, unfortunately.
Let's head to the back and check out the toilets.
We're back in the toilets, and it's time for another toilet inspection. And honestly, there's not really much to say. This is about as standard as a toilet gets on an A320. It's the ones at the back. It's pretty cramped. We've got these tiny sinks, which I don't like. It's so hard to get your hand underneath. A bit of soap, tissue, nice big mirror. What more can I say? And now, when it comes to onboard amenities, what do we have? Well, there's not too much on offer here. No IFE, but that's not a problem. We already know we're not expecting that. In terms of charging, there are no international power sockets, but there is one USB-A port at each seat, which is nice to see, although USB-C would be a lot nicer and useful in this day and age. And actually, I can see someone using it. Okay, I was going to say no one's using it. And there is no onboard Wi-Fi, which kind of surprised me. So, not a very high score on the amenities front here. Alright, so I've just landed in Copenhagen. I've got a very short connection to my next flight to Oslo, where I was originally meant to be. So I'm just running to the gate. But overall, what did I think of SAS? I think it was a pretty average flight, to be honest. First of all, I was just a bit annoyed with the whole cancellation, having to rebook. That was a whole faff. Then on board, the food was a bit disappointing. The seat was fine. And I was a bit surprised they didn't have connectivity, especially considering they're rolling out Starlink on all of their fleet. I just assumed they had something before, but apparently not. But anyway, I'm jumping onto a short flight to Oslo. I'm not going to film this one because it's only like 30 minutes or something. So yeah, the real question is, when it comes to the Nordics, is Finnair going to be any better? Can they beat them? Let's find out. Good morning from Warsaw. The sun's just rising, and today we're flying with Finnair to their home in Helsinki. Now, we're gonna see what kind of fight the Finns put up for this battle for the Nordics. But right now, I need to jump on a bus to the airport. Let's do it. I've
just made it to Warsaw Chopin Airport. It's about 8 kilometers from the city center, nice and close, nice and quick to get to. Just watch out if you're flying with Ryanair or some other budget airlines. They fly from Warsaw Modlin Airport, which is way, way further away, so something to keep an eye out for. I've flown Finnair a few times before, I think 5 or 6 times, and now that I think about it, I've only ever flown with them in business class on their narrow body and also the wide body, the old and new seat. All of those times were actually really good experiences, so let's see if they can replicate the same great time today on economy. Let's do it together. I've just checked in, there was absolutely no queue, so that was a breeze, got my boarding pass. One thing I did ask them to do was to change my frequent flyer number on the booking. With the recent changes to the British Airways Club, I know loads of people are moving away, switching to Finnair, switching to Royal Jordanian. Me personally, I'm switching to Qatar Privilege Club. But let me know in the comments, if you're making the change, which program have you chosen? Warsaw Airport is a long, thin terminal building, so you're in for a lot of walking to get between the various shops and restaurants in the building. Me? I followed signs for the wrong lounge, which was the complete opposite end to the one I had access to, but eventually I made it to the Preludium lounge. The lounge looked very utilitarian with bland colors throughout, and it was underground, so no natural light, and was pretty crowded during my stay too. There was mainly dining table style seating with a few working desks, and if you are lucky like me today, you can grab one of these 6 electronic recliners. Food-wise, there wasn't a huge amount on offer. It was either toasties, sausages, or salads, cold cuts, and cheese. I had a big, long Polish sausage myself and a Coke Zero to drink. They did have red and white wine available to self-pour and lots of soft drinks in the fridge, but no sparkling wine, unfortunately. So that's another X for the champagne side quest. Back upstairs, our Finnair flight was just about to touch down, so let's head to the gate.
As I make my way to the gate, let me tell you a bit more about Finnair.
Founded in 1923, Finnair is one of the oldest continuously operating airlines in the world. From its high-tech hub at Helsinki Airport, its original business model was to leverage its unique geographic position to offer the shortest flight paths between Europe and Asia. Well, until Russia closed its airspace, so big detours are required at the moment. Serving over 100 destinations, its modern fleet is led by the flagship A350-900 and the A330. It's very similar to the SAS fleet composition, with its short-haul network operated by the A320 family and regional flights with E195s and ATR 72s.
Alright, I can see the plane just pulling into the gate. Let's get on board.
Here's the 21-year-old A319 taking us to Helsinki today. But first, who gets the ground category win? Honestly, I couldn't decide for this one. They were both outstation flights with no queues at check-in and boarding groups enforced properly. So for the first time, I'm giving a joint win here to SAS and Finnair.
I've just settled into my seat 22A at the back of the plane. It's a pretty old aircraft, but actually the cabin still looks pretty fresh, so that's good. One thing I thought of walking past the business cabin at the front is that I'm gonna miss the signature Finnair blueberry juice, so if you know, you know. Otherwise, let's have a look around the rest of the seat.
Finnair is also sticking with a grey colour scheme, but their seats do have a bit more padding, and for some reason, I find they just look and feel better. No adjustable headrest here either, but they do have some sort of extra cushioning built into the top of the seat. Legroom was very good, with 31 inches of seat pitch, and the seat recline here felt particularly good too. I often find that seats on older planes are more comfortable before the introduction of the super slimline lightweight seats everyone loves to use nowadays. Having said that, the seat category win is going to Finnair. With better legroom and more comfortable seats, this one goes to the Finns. The trolley made its appearance only 15 minutes after takeoff, and I ordered the Rainbow Trout Bowl with crisps and a pleasant surprise in my cup.
I've just finished up my meal service, and honestly, that was an excellent meal. It's really nice to get something a bit fresher and healthier for once. And to be honest, if it was plated up a bit better, that could easily pass as a business class meal. I was like really impressed with that. And also, I don't know if you saw, I got my blueberry juice. They serve it in economy as well, so it's happy days over here. Just one thing to mention, for this trip, I always try and book at least 2-hour flights to get the full service and to have the full menu. For this Finnair flight, I couldn't make it work with my schedule to get a 2-3 hour flight, so I booked a 1 and a bit hour flight. I had to pre-order that meal to get it, because usually you can only get those meals on longer flights, so just wanted to add that in. But other than that, amazing food, very impressed. And one more thing to add as well, the crew was really nice on this flight. They've been incredibly smiley, friendly, so if you couldn't already tell, the hospitality category win easily goes to
Finnair. Both meals were similarly priced, but Finnair had the much nicer and fresher meal, so they get to take this one home. Now, let's head to the back of the plane.
Alright, it's time for another toilet inspection. As usual, A319 standard size toilet at the back of the plane. But one thing which is immediately noticeable when I walked in is how spotlessly clean this toilet is. And that's coming from an outstation as well. I don't know if you can really see, but just every surface is so clean. There's no drops. It smells, that's what it is. It smells really good as well. Really impressed. Usually the toilets are fairly clean, but this one like particularly stands out. I don't know what it is. There's something about it. Very nice, Finnair.
And for the toilet category winner, this one goes to Finnair. Both were really cramped, small toilets, but the Finnair one was spotless and smelled pretty good too.
Okay, I'm back in my seat, and what about the amenities? Well, no IFE as expected. There's no in-seat charging, which is a bit of a shame. No USB, no international power sockets, but there is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is complimentary for messaging, and then you can also buy some packages as well. So, I was trying to think, SAS having a USB-A charger and nothing else, or Finnair having Wi-Fi. I think for me the most important thing is having Wi-Fi, especially when they give you free connectivity. So for the amenities category win, it's going to
Finnair. USB-A isn't gonna cut it in 2026. Wi-Fi gives Finns the win yet again.
touchdown Helsinki, but I'm actually not staying in Finland tonight. I've got a connection in a few hours, so I've just gone through passport control, and it's so quiet here. I think it's not during the bank times. Look, I feel like I've got the whole terminal to myself. But anyway, onto the flight. I think that Finnair flight was pretty good. The highlight for me was definitely the meal. Like I said earlier, there's something I would have been happy to be served in business class, you know, if it was plated up properly. I really enjoyed it. And another thing is the service from the crew. Like usually you don't notice it that much, they're friendly. It's not very often that crew are rude. On Finnair, they were very warm, big smiles, and you really feel just that small change in the way they speak to you and they smile makes the flight that much more enjoyable. So big thumbs up to Finnair for that. I think overall, considering all the categories, the winner has got to go to
Finnair takes the crown with the most category wins. That means they'll continue on to the quarterfinals to battle it out against next week's winner, either Iberia or TAP Air Portugal in short-haul business class. Don't miss it, hit subscribe.
Let me know in the comments if you agree with the verdict. Let me know your experiences with either SAS or Finnair. And don't forget to like and subscribe. There'll be more next week. Don't miss it. And as always, till next time.